Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried and Jensen. As proud sponsors of BeliefCast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires BeliefCast. Once again, thank you for tuning in week after week and for believing in me. It blows me away to think that we've done 367 episodes and almost 7 years worth of interviewing some amazing people. I need to give a shout out to my sponsors, Wasatch Recovery, Siegfried and Jensen, Thread Wallets, Nourishing Nutrition. I can't thank you guys enough for, supporting me and believing me in this cause, and you make everything possible. So thank you so much. And as usual, we got someone amazing today. I've had so many amazing people on this show, and it continues to go. There's so many people out there doing great things, and today you guys are in for a treat. Today we're joined by Karalynne Call. She is the founder and CEO of Just Ingredients. Karalynne, thanks for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and congrats to you. I didn't realize it's been 7 years and so many episodes. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's I think you just hit your 100th episode on your podcast. Is that correct?
Yep. So I've got a few hundred left to go to catch up to you.
Hey, 100 episodes is no joke. That's a big feat. I think I saw a statistic out there that I think it's less than 2% make it past 50 episodes. So for you to get there says a lot. So.
Oh, that's an impressive stat. Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I'll take that win.
There you go. Well, let me give a little more background and then we'll get started. So Just Ingredients is a health and wellness company dedicated to inspiring people to live healthier, happier lives. She's recognized in Utah as one of the top 10 fastest growing companies. That's amazing. Just Ingredients offers over 200 nutrition and personal care products made with real and natural ingredients. You have a strong influence on social media. I mean, you got over 1 million followers now on Instagram. That's impressive. That is so cool.
You.
And then your podcast is ranked in the top 20, where you bring on professionals and experts that are, talking mental health, talking nutrition, all these amazing things that we all need to know more about. You're very passionate about mental health, and we're going to get into that. You love educating others, and you're just someone that we can all look up to, who's doing great things in this world. So thank you once again. And, I saw this quote and I wanted to share this with you, Karalynne. It was by George Bernard Shaw, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the very first part, it says, "This is the true joy in life, the being used up for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one." And I kind of get that feeling that, through your struggles, you found this purpose, and I would imagine you recognize this as a mighty one. Is that fair?
That's an amazing quote. Yes. So, for those that don't know my background story, I actually dealt with depression and suicidal depression. And about 18 years ago, I had 3 little boys at the time. I now have 6 kids. But I did attempt suicide, and thankfully, by the grace of God, it did not happen. The attempt failed. And because of that, once I healed myself and went on a health journey and got better, about 6-7 years ago, I just started having this desire to teach others how to feel good. And now doing Just Ingredients, I feel that mighty, like you said, that purpose of I was given a second chance of life. And once you're given a second chance at life, you really look at that carefully and analyze it and think, what am I supposed to do with this second chance? I was meant to live for some reason. And so it's just given me this purpose to go help others and to go help those that are struggling with depression, go help those that just don't feel good, have lack of energy, can't figure out why they don't feel good. And so, I love that quote that you just stated. And I do believe I have a purpose in trying to help others feel better.
For sure. Well, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I think, a lot of my listeners, if not all of them, are struggling with some kind of, mental health thing, or it's an addiction. And a lot of it does revolve around, food and things like that as well. And a lot of people are struggling with eating the right things and things like that. But before we get into kind of what that is, do you mind sharing like a little bit more details around, what the depression was like and what the struggles were and how you were trying to figure things out? And it felt like you got to that point where no one can help me. And then, if I'm not mistaken, you felt like some angels were there to save you from that attempt, and here you are. So do you mind giving us some more details on that?
Yeah, so like I said, it was about 18 years ago, and I found myself after my third baby with this terrible depression. But the problem was my baby was over the age of 1. And
Mm,
so they wouldn't help you with postpartum depression, and they would tell you it's not postpartum depression because that's from a year and younger. And so I went to doctor after doctor asking for help, and all they could give me is antidepressants. Now, don't get me wrong, antidepressants were life-saving at the time,
right.
but let me back up. Before I got on the antidepressants, I was going to doctor after doctor asking for help, and no one could help me. Now, granted, that was 18 years ago. And so
Yeah.
nowadays we know so much more about depression and how food affects it, and all these underlying root causes can be the root cause of depression. But
Yeah.
anyways, back then, um, I was really frustrated. And I depression is a really weird thing for people, because for
Yeah.
those to understand if they've never dealt with it, because it can be um, anger and frustration, but it can also be that you don't want to get out of bed, or it can be that you can fake it and do the daily things and just feel miserable inside. I had a combination of lots of different things. There were days I couldn't get out of bed. There was days I was angry and frustrated, but there were so many days of darkness, meaning you couldn't make it. I couldn't make a decision. I didn't want to do anything in life. I felt miserable. And people would say, just hang on, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I
Yeah.
remember sitting in a rocking chair one day and thinking, there is no light at the end of my tunnel. It is
Mm,
pure darkness. It's pure misery. It is just pure hell, basically.
yeah.
And so, like I said earlier, one day after couple years of this, I just was done. I was like, this is miserable. No one can help me. I don't want to live this life anymore. And so I
Wow.
attempted the suicide. And yes, thankfully, miraculous events happened so that that attempt failed. But it was at that point when I finally hit rock bottom and my life was spared that I thought, I've got to find the help. There's got to be help. Like, I had this mindset of I know the body can heal. Like, if you cut
Yeah.
yourself, it heals. If you break a bone with the right tools, it heals. I said,
Yeah.
I just need to know how to heal. And so I would go to doctor after doctor asking them, like, how do I heal? And they would say, we don't know. We don't know. Like, just stay on antidepressants. Here, let's up your
Yeah.
dose. Let's change the medication. Let's do something else. And finally, 2 years after the attempt, 2 years of just going to doctor after doctor after doctor, I finally
Wow.
found a doctor who said, I can help you. There's no overnight fix. I can help you heal, but you've got to be willing to put in the work. And by this
Mm,
point, I was like, I will do anything. I am so desperate. Just teach me what it is. And so we did a lot of different tests, like saliva tests and urine tests and blood work and all these different things to
man.
figure out my root causes, because she was like, depression is your body screaming for help. Your
Oh,
body
wow.
has no
Yeah.
way to vocalize it to you. And so things are happening inside that the body's just like, I can't support you anymore in the best way possible. So these things are happening. And so I found out I had so many things, little things, from not enough magnesium or vitamin D and not absorbing my B vitamins, to food intolerances, to cortisol level being off, to liver issues, to, I mean, just a whole slew of problems. And it was like, no
Yeah.
wonder why your body can't function at its best. It needs all this help. And so I went like on an 18-month journey with her, healing all of these things in my body and learning how to feel my body properly.
Yeah.
And after 18 months, I was able to come off the antidepressants. And it's been about 15 years now, 15, 14 years. I've never had to go back on the antidepressants because I've learned how to nourish my body properly and take care of my body properly so that in return, my body can do its best for me. And so
Wow.
that's now what I try to teach others is how to simply just take care
Yeah.
of their body so that they can be full of energy and happiness in life.
Wow. Well, I love what your doctor said, that last one that finally said, I know I can help you, but are you willing to, you're going to have to put in some work and talk about that journey. Like, were there times where you're going, man, this is too much, or did you feel like some hope based on what she was telling you?
Well, first of all, one, you've got to have the mindset that you can heal,
Yeah.
right? If we just are like, give me a magic pill and hope, I don't know. We've got to have the mindset that we can heal. Two, we have
Yeah.
to have the mindset that it's going to be hard work. It's not going to be easy to heal. And so I did have that mindset just because of all the years of frustration. And
Yeah.
it is hard. And there were times that, yeah, she would say, well, okay, let's back up a little bit. I knew nothing about health. I actually came from a family that, I mean, I ate Frosted Flakes for breakfast or Fruity Pebbles and then went at lunch at high school to Burger King and came
Yeah.
home and, ate maybe a bologna sandwich or a frozen meal or something. I don't know
Yeah.
when I ever had fruits or veggies like that. Just, I didn't know anything about health. And
Yeah.
so, um, thankfully, this doctor went on this 18-month health journey with me of teaching me very simple, basic things like, okay, we've got to start eating real foods. And I remember even one day she said, and you've got to eat whole grains. Like, do you ever eat quinoa? And I was like, what? Like
Well,
quinoa? What is that? Like that's how basic I was. And so I tell anyone, you can heal, you can do hard things. I knew nothing, and here I am
yeah.
from knowing nothing to teaching every day about health and supporting my body and helping others support their bodies. So, if you have the mindset to be willing to learn, I think, and willing to put in the effort, then anyone can do it.
Wow. That really is impressive to go from that to where you are today. With my clients, Karalynne, I say this all the time that life happens for us. And we
Mm.
may not know it when we're going through something really hard, but we can always kind of look back and go, okay, had I not gone through this, I mean, think about it. You wouldn't be doing this today had you not had that challenge. Is that fair to say?
100%. 100%. There's no way I could have even understood what depression is, or those
Yeah.
that are struggling through depression, they get really criticized. People don't understand it completely. It's hard out there in the world. There's not a lot of help and support. Thankfully, there is now more. But had I not gone through that, there's no way I could have the empathy that I do for them. There's no way I would even want to teach this stuff because I'd be like, yeah, everybody just eat healthy. You'll be fine and have energy and be happy.
Right.
But I understand the flip side of that, and so I had to go through what I went through in order to do what I do today. So um, I say it's the greatest blessing in my life. And when people say that or hear me say that, they're like, how is being so depressed and almost taking your life the biggest blessing?
Yeah.
Well, having that second chance of life and having all that knowledge of what I went through is the biggest blessing in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about the greatest blessing in your life, and this is kind of a similar question, but I know this might be a hard one, but if you look back and through going through the depression and even before you started your company, what was like maybe one or two of the biggest lessons you learned through that? Because you mentioned when you said we first have to believe in our mind that we can actually heal ourselves and we can change. That really resonates with me a lot because I've done similar things. But what are some of those lessons that just really stand out to you?
Oh, there's so many lessons.
Yeah.
Trying to choose a few is hard. There's lessons. I mean, there's everything from food to lifestyle choices to having empathy for others. I've learned,
Mm,
like I said before, it gave me empathy for others. It gave me
wow.
love for others. It's hard sometimes to understand what others are going through unless you've gone through it yourself. And so going through something so hard has given me that empathy to love those that are going through hard things, even if that hard thing is different than my hard thing. And the
I
other
love
thing
that.
that it taught me is to be open minded to others and not so critical and judgmental, because back 18 years ago when I was dealing with this depression, if you told people that, they were very critical, like, oh,
Right.
well, what's wrong with you? Like, get your act together and snap
Yeah.
out of it. And so it's taught me to be very open-minded to what people are going through, because you don't always understand exactly what they're going through. And I hated that closed-minded criticalness. And so it's taught me to not be closed-minded and critical of those that are struggling with other things, whether it's, addiction, depression, a health thing, or any issue out there. It's helped me to be more open-minded to them.
Well, I love that. And you learned empathy for others. That's beautiful. Have you ever heard of the book, The Little Soul in the Sun by Neil Donald Walsh?
I haven't actually.
So this is a book that I give my clients all the time, and it's a children's book, and it's probably one of the most powerful books I've ever read. But in that book, this kid is talking to God and saying, before he has to come visit this earthly experiences, he says to God, I want to be forgiveness. I just want to be forgiveness. And he keeps telling him, I want to be that. And basically God tells him, well, okay, if you want to be forgiveness, you're going to have someone do something really bad to you, unfortunately, because the only way you would ever understand what forgiveness is you got to have someone to forgive. Right.
Wow.
And it's such a
Interesting. I love
powerful
that.
book. Yeah, it's such a powerful book. But, hearing what you're saying is the empathy, the level of empathy you have, it would not be on the level it is now had you not gone through the pain and suffering of depression.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I'll have to read that book. It sounds amazing.
It is. You would love it. I think it'd be one of your favorite books, honestly. Well, so, as you work through this, obviously you get your work, you're putting in the work, and did things happen rapidly for you? Did you feel like, man, I'm really starting to feel some change now that I've changed my diet? And how did that go?
So, no, it did not go rapidly at all, as I tell people. People want things to go fast. They want to
Yeah.
be healed in like 2 weeks. I mean, just yesterday I was talking to a lady who's like, I've been on this adrenal complex for 3 weeks. I don't really feel a difference yet. And I'm like, well, you can't expect your body to just change overnight. And so, but I say no because people always ask me, at what point did you feel better? And here's the problem. I was on a lot of antidepressants. And so it kept me, what I say is that it kept me seatbelted in my emotions, meaning I didn't feel that deep depression, but I also didn't feel that deep happiness or joy. It just sort of kept me seatbelted or neutral in those emotions. And so
Love that.
after a year of working with the doctor, then we started slowly tapering off my medication. And so that first year, I was changing my diet and exercising and getting vitamin D and, doing all these things that she's asked me to do. And I was supplementing with things. And I don't think I could feel the difference because of being seatbelted into those emotions. And so once I started tapering off those, the medication, the antidepressants, finally, sometimes I cry when I think about this. Once I got down to a really low dose, almost off, I was sitting on the couch and I remember laughing. And it was the first time I had laughed in years. And I
Wow.
was like, oh my gosh, it feels so good to laugh again. And that was the point that I was like, I'm coming back. I'm coming back to the Karalynne I used to be. I went through some hard times, but I'm finally coming back. And so for me, it was a long time of like almost 18 months until I felt better. But it's because I needed to taper off those antidepressants so that I could really feel that joy and happiness again.
Wow. And when you said seatbelted in your emotions, that really paints a visual in my mind, and it makes a lot of sense, right? And probably part of that work the doctor was mentioning is this is going to take a while.
Yeah. And I don't want to sound like I'm against antidepressants, and it's not this way for all people, right? A lot of people on antidepressants feel great and have joy and everything, but they also do work differently for everybody. And for me, I didn't want to be on them the rest of my life. And so I have to just tell people that's how I felt, but you may not feel that way if you were on them. So just that little caveat there.
No, I appreciate that. And I agree with you 100%. I'm glad you said that. So let's talk a little bit about Just Ingredients. How did you come up with the name, and how did you decide, like, this is what I want to go and try and do?
So it actually just started as a hobby, and I just wanted a hobby because I had
Uh-huh.
6 kids at home at the time. And but the thing was, everyone around me, I felt like was either dealing with depression, anxiety, autoimmune issues, migraines, joint pains, no energy. Like I would go to church or talk to people in the neighborhood or talk to extended family members or people in the community, and everybody was dealing with something. And I was like, that was me like years ago. I just want to be able to go into these people's homes and cook for them for a month and show them how much different they could feel. And I was like,
Yeah.
of course I can't do that. And it's hard to go to some cousin or neighbor and be like, oh, if you would just do this and this, I know you'd feel better. And so I
Yeah.
thought, how can I reach some people? And so I was like, I'm just going to start a little Instagram account. And if I reach 2,000 people, that's my goal. I just want to reach 2,000 people and help 2,000 people and show them that there's little easy swaps that they could make in their life that would help them feel better. And it just kept growing and growing, and people were spreading or sharing my posts and things I was saying. And it just keeps growing today. And so now it's turned into a full business, but I never dreamt of it being a business. It was purely just to be a hobby as a stay-at-home mom, and it just keeps I really just put God at the top of this, and like, okay, it's my purpose, I guess. I'll just keep going wherever you direct me. And so it keeps growing. So I'm like, okay, we'll just keep running with it. So
Wow. That's beautiful. I love that. And again, do you ever look back right now, even and I know you haven't been doing this a long, long time, but long enough to be able to look back and go, I mean, so many people are buying your products. They're being helped by your products. Do you ever pinch yourself and go, man, I can't believe this is happening?
I do sometimes, but it still hasn't really hit me. And I
Okay.
sort of thank God for that. I don't want to get
Yeah.
like prideful about it or be like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm
Right.
helping so many people. I just am so grateful for this opportunity to help people. And so for me, it's just more a thing of gratitude.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it is really fun to meet people that I have helped. I mean, I just met a lady in Costco this week who was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm meeting you. I have to show you my miracle baby. And I was like, oh, why your miracle baby? And she was
Oh,
like, for 5 years, I dealt with infertility. Someone told me about you. I changed everything, cleaned up my stuff, changed my eating, brought down my inflammation, and got pregnant. And this is my baby, all because of you. And so I
wow.
do hear that a lot about miracle babies. I've met people that I've helped get off antidepressants. I met with someone who literally had a gun at their head, and someone told them about my page. And so they didn't end their life. And so those are very, very
Yeah.
humbling circumstances. But again, just so much gratitude that I can help others.
That's amazing. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. Well, I mean, we could talk about Just Ingredients, but I want to go back to, you're a mom, you're a wife, you have a beautiful family. What's it like going through all this and just being also busy with your family? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
It is busy, but I do tell people because people ask me, how can you do this with 6 kids? And I always tell them there's a time and a season for everything because if
Yeah.
I had toddlers and newborns, I couldn't do it. But now
Yeah.
I've got, when I started creating products, I had a 20-year-old, as my oldest son.
Yeah.
And so now having a 24 and 22 and 20, and I've got these older kids who help
Yeah.
with the business. I've got nieces and nephews that help with the business, but they also can help with the younger kids, get my 9-year-old and 13-year-old to their sports stuff. And so it really
Yeah.
has become a family affair, and it has been everybody pitching in to help. My husband quit his job to help me full time. And so it truly has been a family affair, and I couldn't have done it without my kids helping me and supporting me and
Yeah.
being good, willing to go along on the ride with me. And so I do tell people there's a time and a season for everything. But now, as I have a business that I try to go to 9 to 5 to the office, well, I shouldn't say 9 to 5 because one of our core values is family first. And so they
Okay.
know I leave every day like at 3:30 to be home with the kids once they get home from school. And so it is
Oh,
just
that's
making
awesome.
priorities
Yeah,
also. And my priority is my kids, and my family will always come first before the business. And there's lots of stories I could share where I've had to say no to things because of
yeah,
saying yes to my family, but that's just my priority and it works.
sure.
And so we keep going with it.
I love that. Do you mind sharing a few of the core values that you have with Just Ingredients? One of them is family first. Can you share the other ones as well?
So we also have honesty and transparency. And so that is, as you can, if you follow Just Ingredients, you know we're very transparent on our bags and our testing and
Yeah,
what we put in our ingredient or what our ingredients are and what we're putting in our food, things like that. So we try to be honest and transparent in all that we do, but then we also try to show that as employees as well. We also have kindness. I
mm,
think there's too much negativity out there on social media, and so we never fight back. We never
yeah.
try to slam others. It's just kindness, and we hope that employees do the same within the workplace. We also have we talk about communication, but then we also talk about gratitude as well,
Mm.
just how grateful we are for the business and for life and everything that we have.
Those are
So
beautiful.
those are our main core values.
No, those are beautiful. I love that. And you're right. Cause I mean, it might sound strange when I say this, but people probably feel the same way. When you go to your, social feeds and the things that you're putting out there, you just feel better. Like I'm
You're
not
nice.
taking,
Thank you.
I mean, you really do. And I want to make that known just that, you really are making a difference just with like every time I've heard you speak, and even when you're sharing ideas at Costco and things like that, is we can feel your gratitude and your kindness, and you really do care, and I think that's why you've been so successful because I think you're practicing what you preach, and that goes a long way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do care. I'm just trying to help others. And like I said, you can show what to eat in a negative way, or you can show what to eat in a positive way.
Yeah,
And I'm just trying to teach people like do one little step at a time. It's
yeah.
not this all or nothing approach. It's not this kale and sardine diet type thing. Let's just do one little step at a time and trying to show in a positive way. So thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it.
No, you bet. I'm where I'm at today because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. There's a lot of people in my life that have allowed me to stand on their shoulders so I could see a little further. Who are some of those giants in your life that have maybe, kind of inspired you or helped you kind of get to where you're at?
So I really like the giants in the functional medicine space, just because a
Yeah,
lot of them went to medical school and then had a health crisis on their own. And what they learned in medical school didn't help them because there's not much nutrition taught in medical school. And so,
right.
two of the huge functional medicine doctors that I followed when trying to figure out how to heal myself and how to live a better lifestyle was Mark Hyman and Dr. Josh Axe. But Dr. Josh Axe was probably my go to for everything. I always was checking what he would say and what he would do, and he helped
Yeah.
me a ton. And so I actually had him on a podcast a few months ago, and it just was a
Uh-huh.
really huge honor to have him on my podcast
Yeah.
after he was the one that taught me so much to be where I am today. So I love those that are in the functional medicine space. They're my giants.
Right on. Thank you. I know you're also a woman of faith. Can you talk a little bit about that and why that's so important to you?
So I believe that someone that is truly healthy is not just physically healthy, but they're physically healthy, emotionally healthy, mentally healthy, and spiritually healthy.
Yeah.
And so I tell people all the time, whatever your beliefs are, because obviously there's so many beliefs out there,
Yeah.
find that spiritual help. For me, it's God. For others, it's energy, the universe, whatever it is. But for me, it's God. My relationship with God grew after the miracles that happened with the suicide attempt. And I knew at that point he was aware of me. He knew me as an individual, and he cared about me, and he cared enough about me to give me a second chance at life. And I figured he knew why he wanted to give me a second chance at life. So I better connect with him and get to know him so that he can help me on that path of the second chance of life. And so that's what keeps me trying to stay close to him on a daily basis, just to help me through everything that I'm doing, and in hopes doing the purpose that he kept me here on this earth for.
Oh, thank you. That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, we respect all kinds of faith here and whatever your higher power may be. And I agree with you. I think, having all those areas covered, the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual, if we can have balance in those areas, we're probably doing pretty good. And so I appreciate you sharing that. So, you Just Ingredients, things are going really well for you there. What are some of the other, do you have any other big ideas or plans you want to do, or do you just want to just kind of keep doing what you're doing?
Oh, I have so many plans and goals and ideas that people tell me all the time I can't do it all. So once I started seeing that I could make products and people would buy them, I one, have a huge pipeline of products that we're working on, that we're coming out with, that we're researching, trying to figure out, different ways to do different things. And so that keeps me really busy. I also someday would love to open a cafe that just has
Hmm.
all the good foods.
Yeah.
And so people know that. So yesterday, someone actually approached me about something that possibly in a year or two might happen.
Okay.
I also would love to open a clinic with all the alternative therapies in it, and different types of doctors in there, and nutritionists and dietitians. But who knows? These are my big goals, big dreams for down the road. But right now, we're working on products. We're working on growing this mission that better foods or real ingredients will help you with better health and help you feel better. So like we partnered with the Utah Jazz to try to get that out to the men and to
Yeah.
athletes. We now are working with partnering with somebody else that I can't quite say yet, but that will also help us get this message out there. And we also are working on a foundation, because I don't have a foundation yet. And why not
Okay.
have a foundation where I can help
Yeah.
kids and help those um, that are dealing with mental health issues? And so we're excited about that, but that's not ready to launch yet as well. So lots of dreams, lots of products, and lots of things in the works that will come about soon.
Wow, that's exciting. Yeah, and I'm sure there's endless ideas and stuff like that, and I'm sure they're going to iron themselves out the way they need to. But it sounds like you're doing great things, and you started this podcast. We just mentioned at the beginning. You hit your 100th episode, and congratulations on that. And what
Thank you.
what are some of the things that you love about doing the podcast? Like, why did you decide to do that?
Well, I started it because I was like, I want people to know, my audience, that it's not just me saying this stuff, that it's
Yeah.
not just me making this up, that we have top scientists, top doctors, top researchers saying the exact same stuff, but it's hard to get it out to the common people, or not it's hard to get out to the public is what I should say,
Yeah.
right? Like the
Right.
experts know it, but that's it. And so it's hard to get it out to the public. And so I've had like scientists from Harvard come on and talk about how food affects the brain. I've had top scientists that are studying glyphosate and the pesticides on our food. I've had top neurosurgeons who are studying about the foods little kids should eat. So I've had these top people come on that maybe just don't have a social platform, or some do have a social platform,
Yeah.
but I think it's helping spread the word of, oh, wow, what you put in your body and what we eat really matters. Like, this is
Mm.
really affecting our health. It's not just Karalynne saying it, it's all these experts saying it as well. And so
Yeah.
it's been a huge honor to interview them and get to know some of them, make connections with them. And like I said earlier, almost every single guest that I have had on has had some health issues, some struggle,
Yeah.
and they had to find answers. And from finding answers, then they wanted to go share and help others as well. And so it's been really humbling and neat just to interview these people who have struggled with something as well and now are helping others. And so that functional medicine space, alternative therapies, all of this research on nutrition is just a fun, exciting space for me to be in. And I love that we're all, those guests and myself are trying to spread this message.
I love that. Yeah, it's amazing how popular it is already. And I think people want to know the information, and it's nice to know that you're providing these experts that are saying, hey, this is why we do what we do and why we're selling this ingredient, or we put this ingredient into our products because this is what, the scientists are saying what it'll do for us in a good way. So I love that you do that. That's really cool.
Well, and thank you. And I think people are finally waking up to it. For years, we just, whatever was on the grocery store shelves, we ate. We figured, oh, yeah, it's food. Food is food. We'll eat it. And then I think, especially with COVID, but people are just waking up to, wow, we have so many autoimmune issues these days. We have so many kids with ADHD these days. We've got so many kids, so many people dealing with depression, infertility, all these things that people are finally like, what is going on? And I think the pendulum is swinging to like, yeah, it matters what we eat and matters how we take care of our body and matters what we do. And so thankfully that pendulum is swinging and people are wakening up to, the importance of this.
Yeah, no, I love that. Well, I wanted to ask you maybe one last question here, and it's one I usually ask most of my guests, if not all of them. If there's someone out there who is struggling, they're depressed, they feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and they're in that dark space. You've already said some amazing things, but what could you tell that one person right now who's listening to you?
So 2 things. One, just find somebody that can help you, whether that's a spouse, a friend, a mom, a sibling, something. When I was struggling with depression, did not have a ton of family to help me or that understood what I was going through or friends that understood what I was going through. But I did have my spouse who was very caring and patient and willing to work through things with me. And I think you need that one person.
Yeah.
So find somebody that can help you. And second, maybe you don't have the friend or family member, and maybe that needs to be a doctor. But the second thing that I always say is there is healing and hope out there, but it is truly your body screaming, saying, help me. And so you can't help your body without knowing what's wrong, is what I feel like. And so go find a doctor that will help you figure out your root causes. Because everybody is different. What helped my depression might not help somebody else's depression. There are a lot of similarities, but go find a doctor. And nowadays, there's so many more out there that are willing to help you find the root cause and find your own individual root cause so that you can start healing your body, because your body wants to do you good. It wants to do the best it can for you, but you've got to support your body in return. And so find that doctor. So the 2 things would be, 1, find someone that you can just find that love in, that will comfort you or support you. And 2, go find that doctor that can help you figure out what those root causes really are.
Yeah, love that. That's great advice. Thank you for sharing that. I can't thank you enough for being on the show. It means the world to me. I know how busy you are. I don't mean to be weird, but this is like truly an honor to have you here.
And thank you. I appreciate that.
I love what you do. I love that you're making a difference in this world. I love your products. I take them myself. So does my family. So I can testify that not only are they good for you, they taste really good too.
Thank you. I spend a lot of time trying to make them taste good, because there's a lot of products out there that I think are disgusting. So
I know.
Spend a lot of time on that.
Well, I can tell, but you've done a really good job. And again, I admire what you're doing. I admire you most for just going through the troubles you went through and the struggles with depression, and you turned it into something good. It really did happen for you. When I look back on your story, like, this is all, you can connect the dots looking backwards and how it led to this very moment. I look at my own life and the things I've gone through and the struggles led to this moment too, to be here talking to you today. So I'm grateful for everything I've been through as well. if someone wants to reach out to you, for those who may not know you, which would be weird, but if they want to know more about your company, more about you, maybe even ask you a question or learn more about what you do, what would be the best way for someone to do that?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. That's our main place. So it's just.ingredients. I try to get to as many DMs as I can. So that's my main place. We are trying to grow things like TikTok. We have a Facebook group that is super fun. My podcast is just.ingredients, and
Right.
it's, like you said earlier, a place that they can learn from a lot of experts, things like that. And I do have a website, justingredients.us, where I put a lot of my favorites on there from all different brands. So if people are just starting a health journey and they're like, oh, what cleaning
Yeah.
supplies should I use, or what bath soap should I use? It's actually all on my website. And so that's a really
Okay.
good resource for people that are just starting. And so other than that, come learn from me on Instagram, come chit chat with me on Instagram, and I'd love to help you and answer any questions that you have.
I love that. Thanks for being so open and willing. You've been very kind to me to, every time I reached out to you and DM'd you, you responded, which was
Oh, well,
awesome. And
good. I don't get to all of them, but I'm glad I got to some. So
yeah, well, I appreciate that so much. And yeah, I can't thank you enough for taking time to be on my show today. You really are another one of those giants that I'm going to stand on for a minute and learn more about what I can do to be better for myself, for, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And I just love what you're doing. And I'm going to push as many people your way. We'll put all your links in our show notes, and we're going to promote this and have some fun with it. So thanks for being
well,
here.
thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do, because we need, good, positive people that are spreading light in this world, and you're one of those people. So I appreciate all that you do as well. So thank you, and thank you for having me.
You betcha. Thank you so much. Well, there you go, folks. I told you today you were in for a treat. We have Karalynne Call from Just Ingredients, and I would encourage all of you, if you have a family member who's struggling with depression or anything for that matter, have them listen to this episode. Send them the link. Sometimes we have a hard time. How do I talk to someone who's struggling? And sometimes sending them a link to a podcast can break the ice for you. And so share that. Again, thanks to my sponsors. I love you guys. Thanks for believing in me. And again, thanks for all of you tuning in week after week and for sharing this. It means the world to me. I love you guys, and be good until next time. Talk to you soon.